Welcome to 100 Words, where we write 100 words about a particular prompt. Last week the prompt was "The woods are watching," and at the end of this video I'll generate a new prompt, and if you want to get involved, all you have to do is write 100 words about that prompt and leave them in the comments of this video, and who knows, maybe I'll read yours out next week. So the woods are watching this week, and we've got some entries and I'm going to read them out now. I did it as well. I'll read mine out somewhere towards the middle. I quite liked this prompt, so we'll see what sort of mixture we get this week. So, Adrian Finch, you have written: "A wolf moon shone low in the sky that fateful night, lighting the way as the procession of caravans and trucks pulled into the woods to set up. Carnival folk are unwelcome everywhere, with hostile pitchforks raised by gorgers. Joseph had hurdles to overcome if he were ever to lead this band of merry travellers, now his father passed. What will become of my innocence now it's been taken?" he sobbed into Pa's moist claret waistcoat. "Would I avenge this killing? No one knows my secret, only these trees and our late king. Yet he's lying dead, a gypsy's curse." I really like your imagery there. I love anything to do with like carnivals and that sort of thing, so I really just love the imagery of the pitchforks and the moon, and you've really built an atmosphere there that's kind of dark and mysterious, and I think that's really cool. Cheers, Adrian. Lighting Lavender, this week you have written: "Always be careful when you're out gathering, Elsie," her mum used to say. "You're never truly alone out there." As the sun dropped below the tree line, Elsie wished she'd minded her more. "Foolish girl," she thought, pulling the brown cloak tighter around her chest. "You should have stayed closer to the trail." She hefted the basket under her arm as she wound her way back the way she came. Branches pulled at the rough-spun hem of her dress, snatching and slowing her progress. She stilled, a noise pulling her attention to left. A pair of eyes reflected through the black. That's cool. That's another really mysterious one. So I do really want to know more about who these characters are and exactly what's going on in their little world. It's a really nice snapshot of a story, and I especially really like the branches pulling at the rough spun hem of her dress. I think that's a really sort of creepy image. Nice work. So Aaron Small, you have written: "The sound of a ruffling and unzipping breaks the silence in the unmarked police car. Come on, I'm trying to read here, can you step outside for that? Can't be seen, that's what the chief said. Are you chipped, can he follow you? No and no. Then step outside, will ya?" As Agent Birch stepped out of the car and into the nearby bushes, Agent Adler continued to flick through the file notes. This stakeout was the last shot they had. Something had to be in here, he muttered, but for now, they would have to sit back and watch. That's a really clever twist on the prompt. I hadn't thought of writing anything like that. I'm actually really bad at like writing anything to do with police and crime and stuff, but I think in a few short words you've actually captured quite a lot of tension there, and I really like your dialogue especially. So this is my one for this week. "Your mother planted me in the garden on a warm July afternoon. I watched as her belly bloomed, and I watched you sitting on the patio eating sandwiches and crisps. I was there when you took your first steps. You and I both grew, but I grew faster, and gave you shade when your first boyfriend dumped you in that car park. I was there when you got married beneath the pagoda. I love you, and I can never tell you, but I'm here now, watching over the patch of dirt where your grandchildren scattered your memories. I am here." I'm quite pleased with that. I tried to turn the prompt on its head a little bit. When I hear the phrase "the woods are watching," I think about trees and maybe evil people that live in the trees, so I thought I'd try and write something maybe a bit emotional, a bit sweet. I think it came out okay. So Loco Snake 101, you have written: "If I had to find out the hard way, I wasn't really against it. My grandparents would tell me stories of swaying branches and birds flying past, the eyeglass of nature. If the woods were so intent on keeping the remedies that they held themselves, I was happy to oblige. Just not in the way it expected. Any man that entered the trees in search of hope never returned. The match struck itself in my hand. I was going to change that. The ground was dry, fertile for fire, as I heard the beast cry from within the darkness." That's really cool. Very dark, great atmosphere, great tension. Yeah, it's really interesting how you got into the mindset of this person who's about to do something terrible, and we don't fully know why they're doing it, why they're potentially going to burn down this forest, but that's really cool. Nice work. So next we've got the real Harry Kane. This week you have written a cacophony of noises, people with places to be and jobs to do, plastic bags flying around. That was the city. Peaceful silence, ignorance of all places to be and jobs to do, leaves blowing elegantly through the wind. That was the forest. I can go there when I want, I just need to close my eyes and block out my thoughts. People question its reality, but they don't understand. I don't care whether it's real or not. I wouldn't give it up for anything, let alone my sanity. I came yesterday and it wasn't the usual vibrancy or variety I was used to. I found a note on a nearby tree saying, "Don't trust the forest. If you've already let it in, then God rest your soul. Just remember the woods are always watching." Wow, I really, really like that one. And I'm not just saying that. When I say I like them, I really do like them, and I think that they've all been really good this week. I really like the rhythm of describing the city, and then you say that was the city, and then describing the forest and say that was the forest. I think a lot of people underestimate a bit of rhythm, a bit of almost, it's not quite rhyme, but it's poetic in the way it's repeating the same sort of cadence. I think there's a lot more room for that in prose than people give it. And I read quite a lot of Chuck Palahniuk, and he's really good at that. He will do a lot of callbacks and do a lot of repetition, and that really that's right up my street. It's very cool. And last but not least this week is Mr. Swaim. This week you have written, "I throw down my axe and wipe the sweat from my brow. Just one more day and I'll have my cabin, I say to keep them at bay. They like quiet, so I make noise. A bush rattles and I laugh so as not to scream. The gash on my back throbs as if reminding me what happens if I don't make noise, if I stay too quiet. Did you ever hear the one about the priest, mage and the assassin? It doesn't matter what I say, as long as those eyes stay in the forest and away from me." Yeah, that's great. I haven't seen A Quiet Place, but I think it's about people who have to stay really quiet. Is that the one, or is it Bird Box? I don't even know. But there's a film or something where you have to be really quiet, and if they hear you, they'll come after you. I like that you've sort of twisted that, and he has to constantly make noise to keep whatever it is at bay. Really nice work, and well done to everybody. Thank you so much for all your entries this week. They're really, really cool, and it's just so interesting to see how different everybody's is, and just how much you managed to create just from one little prompt. Sometimes you can be staring at a blank page and not have a clue what to write, but as soon as you just have one little prompt, all the stuff can just come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to artprompts.org. So the prompt this week is, "The razor fell, slowly enveloped by blood." That prompt again is, "The razor fell, slowly enveloped by blood," or enveloped by blood. I think it's enveloped, isn't it? So that'll be interesting to see what we can come up with for that. It's a little bit cliche, but it's quite dark, and part of the challenge is to take a very simple, possibly cliche prompt and see what you can make of it. So just write 100 words on that prompt and leave it in the comments, and I will read a selection of them out next week. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who got involved, and I will see you in the next one.